Hey everybody, welcome to another question and answer, and we have Jimmy here again, which is great. Thanks Jimmy for coming again.
What do you mean? You corralled me and you told me it was a free lunch, and now it's what?
Yeah, just ignore the shackle marks and the rope marks around his wrist. Maybe we shouldn't say that.
I hope you're going to give me that ride home. I mean, instead of leaving me out there like you did last week.
Well, before we get going, Jimmy's going to do a little 6-ounce tacking, and showing your technique that you've developed over years of practice, Jimmy.
Oh yeah. Okay, good, yeah.
But I don't want you to be nervous. It's only a $500 a yard horsehair fabric.
Is that really actually what it is?
Yes, I have no more fabric left, so if you make a mistake,
so we tear it?
Don't worry about it, yeah.
And what is this precious? So how much total in fabric did they spend?
Well, it came down to, see this here?
Yeah.
I just noticed that's not enough there. Oh boy.
Oh,
the first thing we're going to do is adjust this. Did you see that? I went to pull this over, and there's not enough over here. So we have to undo this and bring it this way, but that's okay.
What kind of upholstery shop do you run?
Actually, it's a good segue to what I want to talk about today, and it's about customer service and about how we're only human and we do make mistakes, right? So I've made a couple of mistakes. I'll tell you why, because it has slowed down industry-wide, and I think economy-wide, at least in New England, slowed down a little bit. So this is what I'm seeing. So, you're sitting there, and the first thing you think about is it's something I'm doing wrong. So you start thinking about the past estimates that you've given. Have you been, did you respond to them correctly? Were you polite? Were you courteous? Even if the customer thought it was an outrageous price. And I'm going to read some examples of this. We do a lot of texting, and I think texting's really a good thing. It has its place, has its drawbacks. I mean, the best thing happened the other day is I actually went out to a house with some fabric books, which I haven't done in a long time. But that customer didn't have any she didn't have any texting means or anything like that.
The woman in Cambridge?
No, another woman in the neighboring town, and I just went out and I sold a job. It was pretty good, but I've made some mistakes. I caught this one before we moved on, which is good.
Thank God.
Yeah, but we're gonna do it together. Maybe I might show a technique on how to remove these staples are in all the way.
I think that would be, especially considering the fact that this is so expensive.
Yeah, and what happens with horsehair fabric, Jimmy, is when you pull it, you can't do this. There's no easy way of taking these out. I'll show people, but when you pull, if you go to pull the fabric, like try to use the fabric to pull the staple, it'll make a run. It'll pull.
You're kidding.
It will actually change the color threads in here, so you have to be really careful.
Oh, that's on you.
I'll do that, but I want to show people. I'll let you maybe do the bottom, because the bottom, well, I might have to do the bottom too, but that's okay. The whole thing has to be shifted this way.
But this is a good understanding. I mean, plain fabric. I mean, all fabric can change once you start taking it apart and trying to put it back together. But this being as it is, horsehair fabric, which is. When was the last time you worked on something like this?
I've worked with horsehair fabric many years ago, but it was only on slip seats. The only time I've ever seen it is on slip seats. I've never seen it on a sofa like this. Never. I mean, I've seen sofas with horsehair. And it's funny, I was thinking about, when I was doing this, I was thinking about Abraham Lincoln, because that's what they had on Abraham Lincoln's day, 1860. People who had money had horsehair fabric on their pieces. So I've been thinking, it's kind of neat. You go back in history and think about these things.
But was it as nice?
No, this is very unusual. And I told people the last time that each one of these strands is unique. That doesn't repeat. It looks like it repeats, but it's not an exact repeated stripe.
Okay.
It's really interesting. I'm just going to douse this because I want to let people hear me.
Janine is here.
Hey, Janine, how are you?
You caught a live show.
Yeah, so we were just talking about.
Malcolm.
Hi, guys, and I think both of these people. I think Janine has her own business. Actually, I know Malcolm does, but I want to talk a little bit about customer service, and also when you make a mistake, you have to bite the bullet. We're going to have to bite the bullet here. This is probably going to be an hour or two taking this apart and just shifting it down. But I'm so happy to see that I have enough over here, Jimmy. There's enough But I made a mistake.
Thankfully, you have enough.
Yes. So I want to talk about another mistake I made. I made a mistake with ordering fabric. I had a job that required 2 different fabrics. I ordered one fabric for the whole job and did the cushions in the wrong fabric.
Oh, no.
So I'm sitting there thinking, my first instinct is like a schoolboy getting caught with, getting his hands in the cookie jar. Do I lie to the customer or what? I said, no, what am I thinking to myself? It's better to be truthful. So I called the client. I said, I made a mistake. And I explained the mistake. I'm going to have to eat the mistake, but it translates into a longer time. She's going to have to wait for the project.
Couple of more days.
And I think people appreciate your honesty more that way than if you just made up an excuse.
Yeah, the chair was upside down when I did it.
Oh, maybe I was drinking.
Drinking heavily. I mean, if you...
I don't drink, actually. There's no excuse that way either.
I know. Well, you could say I was experimenting at the time. But I don't know if that.
But it all ties into customer service,
Yeah, well,
what's the right
it
way
just
to
tells
do it,
you, the next time you're going to double check or triple check before you start. That's all.
Even with that, you make mistakes.
Yeah.
Mistakes are made. But I did want to talk about a client that came in with 6 boxed seats. And do you know what a box seat is, Jimmy?
Yeah, like kind of. Well,
like a dining room seat.
Yes, that.
So if you can explain it. Do you know exactly?
Well, I mean, it's set in, right? It's separate from the chair.
Sometimes it's set in. Sometimes it sits on top, but usually it's separate, right?
Right.
So usually a box seat has a welting. It looks like a cushion that sits on the top, unlike a slip seat or an upholstered seat. So there's at least 3 different types of dining room seat. There's a slip seat, there's a box seat, and there's an upholstered seat, which is attached to the frame,
right?
Which is pulled under. But the box seats have a lot of work to them. They have a piping on the top, they have a piping on the bottom, and these have to be totally restored. So the client, he first got a hold of me. He only wanted to repair them, which I looked at it and I said, well, I try not to do repairs, but when you're slow, you'll do anything. So I gave him the option.
Well, it's always good to keep up on the repairs too.
Yeah,
I think.
So I gave him the estimate, 2 estimates. He thought that was nice. I was very, very prompt in calling him back and willing to talk to him on the phone for about 5 minutes. And then I didn't hear. He walked in the next day and he said, I want to use you for these, and I'll pick and fabric. He was a good customer. And he told me that he had called 2 other upholsterers, and one never called him back, and the other one was rude on the phone.
Oh.
So he said I was the most expensive one, but he was using me because of because of my customer service. This is so important, customer service.
Well, that, you get that going for you, but also the service and what you're going to provide and making it look the way that he wants it to.
Well, it's the quality too.
Yes.
And he was really nice. He paid in advance on the labor too, which was good. So that kind of made me.
So that Christmas bonus to be coming this week then?
Well, I don't know. It made me liquid for at least today. I was happy.
Yeah.
So, the small businesses. We don't work for an agency or a civil service organization, Jimmy. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
So if
I didn't get a Christmas bonus from them either.
There's an old expression.
They say tap yourself in is what. Give yourself a free ride.
There's an old line in a movie saying, "If you don't work, you don't eat."
Yeah, exactly.
But in civil service and agencies, sometimes you can go weeks and still get paid.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing.
I got paid. What do I do? Nothing. Okay. I guess that's
But
you thank the Almighty for that.
Exactly. I mean, it's always you have job security, and I'm not jealous or anything.
I'll get you on if you want.
Even at this age.
Hey, we'll put you on. We can put you on for a good 10 years and.
65.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's no discrimination.
No.
Oh yeah, age discrimination.
Not anymore.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we kind of look at you and go like, really? Do you think you can make it down the platform?
Well, we'll talk later about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about job opportunities later on.
But anyhow, so I wanted to go over before we start on this. Now it's a project. I'm not looking forward to it.
Yes. Well, again, this will be a lesson for even me especially, because, the times that I've made mistakes and you've seen them. It's simple, but you still got to be careful. But this This isn't a class by itself.
This is if I make a mistake on this.
You're messed. You're screwed.
It's like, when they write the Torah, the Jewish friends, the rabbis, when they're writing the Torah, it's backwards from what we do. They start from the back and work to the front, I think.
Okay.
The writing is backwards.
Okay.
And it's all handwritten, Jimmy. The
Right.
book's like this.
Right.
So they're handwriting, they're hand doing it. If they make a mistake, they got to start all over again. One mistake, they got to start all over. So if they're on the last word of a Torah, which is this big, and they make a mistake, they have to start all over again. Now, what you think? That's patience, right?
Well, I mean, that's accuracy, and that's...
Who's the guy that tried to roll that big rock up the hill, Jimmy? What's his name? Sisyphus is his name.
Is
In
Sisyphus?
Greek mythology, yeah.
Is that the person? I would have never guessed that.
He
no.
never got
Maybe
the
a
roll.
multiple choice. But,
he never got to roll the hill. He tries and tries and tries
well, I
until the
don't
rock
know.
never goes up.
Yeah.
Anyhow, is there any questions before we go on, Patrick?
I mean, it's catch you up. Malcolm says, did you offer the cushions at half price so you didn't have to redo them?
Oh no, I already charged a full price, so my mistake can't be my customer's mistake. I never say to the customer, that's why they penalized. They're not penalized. It's my fault.
Well, I mean, you could offer, say, would you prefer it this way? I mean...
Oh no, the cushions. Let me understand. The cushions are made in the wrong fabric. Already made in the wrong fabric.
Okay.
That's nothing to do with the customer. She ordered another fabric that these cushions were supposed to go in. There were only 3 cushions, thank God.
Okay.
But before I caught the mistake, right? I did ask with the 2 fabrics, can we flip the fabrics? And she said they're in 2 different rooms. So if they were in the same room, like the rocker that goes with it in another fabric,
Right.
if they were in the same room, she might have considered that. But
Okay.
because they're in separate rooms and the color matches each room, there was no...
Did you say, Karen?
No, I felt bad. I felt bad for her, and I'm sure she felt bad for me. But this is life, Jimmy.
I know.
We all make mistakes.
So
Janine says, unfortunately, she had to stop upholstery because she got ill.
Oh, is she okay?
Doing good, better now.
Oh wow!
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry, Janine.
yeah, I hope you feel better. I mean,
But upholstery is therapeutic for the most part, unless you make a big mistake. But so I would encourage her if she can to
I
get.
don't know, I've seen Jimmy have some rage every now and then over something.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I remember the first time I actually started doing the tying of the coils, and literally as much as Kevin helped me this one day, I couldn't get started. I didn't know my left from my right. I kept doing it and like faltering, and and I finally stood there for it must have been good 5 or 10 minutes.
I think you started crying, and I came over with some tissues.
Yeah, you did.
And
then when you picked me up off the floor.
Here's Jimmy talking about this, and then you go in and say that. You can't
I'm
even get
sorry,
a
Jimmy.
point across.
You were trying to get a point across. And
No, that's okay. You stole my thunder, but that's okay. It's okay.
And the rule is, every once in a while, I have to say in the class, there's no crying in upholstery. Even though the thing's a Scotch guarded, there's no crying in upholstery.
and we don't guarantee everything, but that's okay. It's fine.
You did a good job, but perseverance Jimmy perseveres. He's unbelievable. That's why he makes, I'm glad he brought this up. That's why the online classes, if you're watching this and you're wondering what the heck this is all about, it's about the YouTube channel, which is free, and the online classes that you can purchase, which has mostly Jimmy in it and other people.
Yeah, we've done a few. How many? 4? I think.
We've done many classes in those 4 or 5, whatever it is. But it's the mistakes that make you better. It really is. And
Well, I
they're
always
painful,
say you
but
win. Like playing a game. You learn more by losing versus winning. Winning is not bad.
you're a sports guy. You
Yep.
know. You're a big fan. You play hockey.
Yeah. I love the game.
How's your tiddlywinks competition?
Well, you know what? That is not going to be a national sport in the Olympics the next time around.
Patrick
but-
doesn't even know what tiddlywinks are.
No, he has no idea. Poor child. I mean, you obviously kept him
I
isolated.
kept him away from all those tiddlywink people.
Yeah,
who wanted to-
the bad people of the world. Yeah, just
I didn't want to corrupt it.
I was going to say, so corruptible they are. My God, the backdoor deals.
I'm sorry to ruin your guys' mood, but unfortunately, Janine says, thanks, not good news. Probably only a few years, unfortunately.
Oh no.
What?
I'm sorry, Janine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wow.
Well, Janine was one of our first people here.
Solid person.
She was one of the first people who I think discovered us on she was always, we're wondering where she was. Because,
So we'll still be here.
yeah.
She can enjoy us, and we'll be doing plenty of stuff.
Now,
where is
Janine from?
Australia.
Oh my God! Wow.
So we got a new class coming up soon.
We used to have a lot
Just got
of
to
fun.
find the new things. She'll be able to enjoy this next class, and everyone else will be able to enjoy it too. And just asking Jimmy about that. He
I mean,
is on the search for, because we have to switch this up. So we're still sticking with the sofa thing, Janine. We're going to do a sofa class.
Sofa or a love seat, I think, would be good.
Yes, like we already did the settee.
Yeah.
Love seat would be good.
Yeah, a love seat.
I know that, Janine, I hope you don't mind, and I'm not going to do this out loud, Patrick, so don't feel bad. Don't panic. But I think, could we just take a minute to ourselves and just maybe do a little prayer for Janine, each little silent prayer? Could we do that? All right, let's do that now, starting now. Amen. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Hey.
That's good. So, why don't we get going on this, Jimmy?
Yeah, show me the techniques that you're not supposed to, tools that you're not
Well, I
supposed to
think
use.
you're going to help me. I think what I'm going to do is
I'm just like,
I'm going to lift the staple, and I'm going to have you take the staple out the rest of the way. So, I'll be working this way, and then you'll be taking the staple out with the side cuts.
Oh, okay.
So what do I need to be for the angle on this?
Well, you're not. We're going to be right here, Patrick. This is something. This was unplanned because I just discovered the mistake.
Wow, you made a mistake for once.
I made a mistake. It was my mistake. I can't blame Jimmy.
So Jimmy, the next time he says
I
something
know.
to you,
They can't
you know what to use.
They can't take it out of my pay because, well, I don't get paid.
Where's the mallet? Do we have a wooden mallet here? I thought we had a wooden mallet, Jimmy. We don't have a wooden mallet. That's okay. We can use this. Use the tack hammer. It's not the intended purpose, but if you don't have a wooden mallet, guys, you can always use the flat end of the hammer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this one on
Okay.
because I don't want the whole thing falling off. So I don't know if you can see this, Patrick, very well. I have to be really careful of the wood here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get, I'm going to take one prong of the tack remover.
Hold on, Dad. You're going to be over here, all the way on this side?
We're
Can I
gonna be
zoom in? Or
moving-
you can go all the
we're
way.
moving this way.
Okay. I'm going to have to stay a little back then.
So Jimmy, I'm going to leave that one in for now.
Okay.
I'm going to get underneath there and lift. Oh, that one came right out.
Okay, maybe we're lucky with this.
Maybe I pinned it. Maybe I pinned it and we're lucked out. I might have pinned it. I thought I stapled it all the way, so. See what I'm doing here, you guys? Try not to use the tack remover by itself, because what happens is you're putting a lot of pressure behind, and inevitably you're gonna slip and gouge the wood. Now I'm only doing it because I think, for the most part, these are pin tacked. You see that, Jimmy? I'm lifting. So that one's a little bit more stubborn, so I'll use my hammer just to get under. See that?
Okay.
There's techniques that I use that sometimes I forget, you know?
Well, you know what? You got to remember too the type of fabric you have. That hopefully, in this case, is
And be careful, because like I said, you can grab hold of that and make a pull.
Well, I'm doing 2 or 3 pulls. I'm making sure I'm not just grabbing it to rip it.
So people get, if you guys are watching this for the first time, if you're just wondering what we're doing, this is kind of a little different than the online classes. I have Jimmy do everything in the online classes, but we're working together like this, and then I'll pull weight like this, and I'll leave Jimmy alone until he needs me. He'll either call me or I'll just pop in, maybe give him a tip.
I'm sure that's wise to do. Leave Jimmy alone with his own thoughts. I don't know.
Come here. I'm gonna.
Uh-oh, he has a tool in his hand. I shouldn't
Everyone, the lights are gonna go out for a minute, but we'll be right back.
It's okay, because I think the thoughts are...
You gonna kill me?
I think his thoughts are, isn't Mr. Kennedy wonderful? Isn't he handsome?
You gotta stop drinking those. That
I think it's the
cranberry
coffee.
juice must be awful strong.
I think he's allergic to coffee or something.
Well, I did.
Yeah, he must have that adverse effect that everybody seems to.
I did have a cup of coffee. Maybe they put something in it, Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, maybe not enough.
You gotta have fun too, you know, when you're working alone, especially.
Well, you're gonna have but I think it's kind of fun. You and I banter all the time when we go on and on about stories and stuff like that.
But only on the online classes, we're serious, though, aren't we? Because they're
Pretty
paid.
much. I mean,
they're paid classes, so we want to make sure we respect
Well, we
them.
have a time limit too. I mean, we don't want to kind of go off like a show, but
I can't explain how I did this, how I made a mistake like this, Jimmy.
well, you know, you do it all the time. You know, you're putting it out there, and then all of a sudden you say, "Oh, wait a minute, what the."
Wow.
Well, you know what? This is a good lesson, Kevin. I think because again, whether the fabric house can be $200 a yard or even $25 a yard, the idea to take a little bit of care into it.
Right. That's true, because it's still a job, right?
Yeah, you don't want to rip it. You never.
Can we switch places here, Jimmy? Can
Yep.
you get over? I just want to get that last one down here, and then I'm going to ask you with the side cutters. These 3 staples on the bottom are loose. This will be loose in a minute. Okay, and you can undo that. Do that first so that we don't lose the... And we're going to be, these were only pin staple now that I remember, because the customer's requesting anywhere we can is to use tacks, like old school. So Jimmy's going to be old school and some 6-ounce tacks on this from now on, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, let me see that hammer for a sec. Okay, good. Am I taking the rest of the top off, Kevin?
What's that?
Am I taking the rest of this off?
Can you
rest of the
undo these 2 down here first?
Come on, man.
Kels.
Come on. Oh, okay. But still.
It's hard. What Jimmy's doing, we can't, being sofas are difficult sometimes to do, because if it were a chair, we could put up. This antique, it weighs
It's heavy.
a ton.
It's a hip.
And I can't put it up in its arm. I have to keep it upright as much as possible.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do here, let me explain what I'm going to do here, Jimmy. Can I have the side cutters for a minute? I'm going to loosen this up, and then you're going to hold your end, and we're going to work it down
Well,
this
it's still
way.
got 2 here.
Yeah, I'm going to help you with that.
Okay.
Oops. Do that. Sorry. Catch up with some of the comments there, Patrick.
Yeah, sorry. It's kind of tough to get that one done. Sorry. I only taken it off. Okay.
One more. One more. Okay, could you
Janine
cut
says
that now?
measure
You
twice,
got that?
tack.
Yeah, I got
Measure
it.
twice, tack once. It's a good motto.
Jimmy, I need enough to go to the end on your end, so bring it to you. A little bit more. You got enough there?
Yep.
Okay, hold it right there.
There were about 3 inches here, 2 or 3
Good.
inches.
I have the same over here.
All right. Wow.
So I noticed on horsehair too, it has to be folded, because if it's not folded, it has to be folded like I'm folding. I don't know if you can see this, Patrick.
Yeah.
But I'm folding the top
Now, why is that?
because it frays like crazy.
So you couldn't.
Get in there. Hold on. Sorry. Go ahead.
It frays like crazy.
Let me do it.
Yeah. Usually I'd be spitting these tacks.
That's okay.
Okay, so I'm pulling it not too tight, and then I pin tack that. So you can bring it back now, Patrick, because I'm going to have Jimmy, you can watch him do this now, Jimmy. Starting in the middle.
Okay.
Starting in the middle, I want you to fold this under. If you see a little white, it's okay, almost like that.
Okay.
But you need to stop pin tacking about every 2 or 3 inches, okay?
Okay.
And here are the tacks here. What I usually do, guys, is I spread out my tacks so that I can pick them up. I'm able to pick them up with the magnetic end of the hammer, and I'm not taking more than 1 tack with me. See, right, Jimmy? Spread them all out, and then you pick them up with the magnetic end and stop pin tacking. You remember how to pin tack, Jimmy? Just to refresh you on it. So you get it set up like that, and then a little tap near there, and then turn it over. I don't want you to just pin tack. Excuse me. What's the matter?
Yeah, I think I might have 1 or 2, Kevin.
Do you?
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, look at that.
You're a lifesaver, man. Oh, yeah. Are you sure? That's all
Yeah.
of them? Do you want one?
Sure.
I got.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So now,
Malcolm says, why wouldn't you overlook the edge if it frays a lot?
Why would I what?
Says, why wouldn't you overlook the edge if it frays a lot?
Overlook the edge?
That should means over. By overlook, does he mean go farther over? Or to overlook as in overlook?
That was definitely a mistake over here. So Malcolm, when I'm cutting this, I can show you a piece of fabric.
every 2 inches, right, Kevin? Doesn't matter how I
It
start.
really frays. See, all this was goods over here, Malcolm. So I have to end up folding it like that just to close it. That's what Jimmy's doing now up at the top. Good job, Jimmy, by the
Thank
way.
you.
And what we're going to do is pin tack across the top, and then pull it and pin tack it on the bottom, and then we're going to cut our sides about 1 inch over, and then make little cuts around the curves. We're going to at least get to one of those today to show people, and fold that also. And here's another problem with Customer's Own. This is a Customer's Own material. I'm not sure. I can't compare. I have a feeling because it's a stripe, it's a little bit less structured than some of the other diamond horsehair fabrics that I've seen. One of the big problems I've had with this job is the customer also picked out their own trim. He's a good friend of mine. I do work for him. I've done a lot of work for him, but Malcolm, I don't know if you can see that this is thinner than most trims. That's a big disadvantage to something like this, and I have to be really careful. So this is the trim that goes on, Jimmy.
Okay.
So believe it or not, there's not much coverage there. And a gimp is much wider, not much wider, but wide enough, wider, that it's a little bit easier to do. So I'm going to be putting gimp tacks in this also. He wants really old school, my friend, which I told him. He said, I want to make sure everything gets tacked. And I said, well, you know what? You have to give me a little bit of leeway on what gets stapled, because old frames don't take tacks too well. And he agreed to that. But look how careful Jimmy is in respect to this, in respect to the thinness of the trim, right, Jimmy?
Yeah.
See? Good job. Any other comments or questions or comments, Patrick?
Let's see. So by that he meant overlook surge.
Oh.
Use an overlooker, or Jeannie says use an overlooker or serger on the edges. Horsehair, and Malcolm says horsehair. Is horsehair durable fabric?
It's the most durable fabric. On its surface, it's the most durable, but with seams, this is horrible. Unless you serge it, you're right.
That's what that is.
But you really can't serge when you're upholstered sections like this. It's just too precise. You have to do it by hand. So that's why I have to fold it by hand, especially when the concern is the thinness of the gimp. So my friend's a good guy. I like him. I've known him for a long time. He also wants this. You guys can't see it. I don't know if you can bring the camera over here, Patrick, but you're not going to believe this.
Oh,
you can't see. There's a little hole in here on both ends.
Hold on.
Okay.
Is it worth taking the camera off?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. My friend wants.
I don't think I'll be able to do it with the tripod.
He wanted me to try to make a rosette.
Let me try.
What?
A rosette. Jimmy, don't you know what a rosette is?
No.
Well, your girlfriend's name is Rose. If she had a kid, it would be a rosette. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll tell Rose you said that. You know?
I just made that up, you guys. Isn't that pretty good?
You know, obviously, your second career as a comedian is not going to pan out the way.
I don't know if you can get in there, Patrick.
The cord might come
There's
out.
a hole over here. That's all I'm.
Oh, okay.
My friend asked me to make with the horsehair. This is how detailed he is. A rosette. It's a small little rose, Jimmy. Looking like a rose out of the horsehair fabric. Patrick's shaking his head. No, he knows what he wants. He knows what he wants.
Well, he's seen it before.
So I said, you know, I don't think I could. Well, you know, let's try it now. I'll try it now. I don't know. I told him though I couldn't do it with the horsehair, but then I had another idea, which I'll run by. It's just fun, you guys. You know, sometimes you have fun, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cut what I make a rosette out of horsehair.
What am I looking at here, Jimmy?
This is a job for Michaela. So I'll just, attempt it. I guess it would be crunchy. It probably, maybe fold it over so you get a nice fold. And then the only thing I could think of is stick it in there, but it's too stiff. I knew as soon as he proposed this that the horse is too stiff. It's not going to make a rosette, Patrick. It's not going to make a rosette, Jimmy. That's not going to make a rosette. It's too firm.
It's too stiff.
So I had an idea.
Oh, here we go.
I said if I have enough trim, right?
To make one?
I can make it. I can put it in here.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in the hole.
This is kind of ridiculous.
No.
I hate to say it.
No.
It's a sweet thought, Kevin, but I don't think it's gonna.
No, it's gonna look at the gimp. Actually, I wish you guys could see this because it's going. I can't do it now.
All right, I'll take the
I have
camera
to
off.
talk to your wife about that.
It's not me. It's the customer.
Oh yeah, we'll fix it.
I think he came up with this, John. Maybe the customer's anything to do with it.
I want
I
people
think he
to
came
see
up with
this.
this.
I think I could do a little neater job. I'm gonna have Michaela help me with that. But that's the start of a little rosette in there. I haven't figured out how I'm gonna.
Don't believe that.
I'm gonna have to put a tack.
I can't tell.
Tack it. What do you mean? What's better, that or that, or the little rosette?
Well, you know what? How about if we just put a nice little cap on the end and in the strip?
That's what a guy working in an agency would do.
No.
A guy who's creative.
Well, you know what?
And
I've never seen the depth of a nail in a
Jimmy, I hate to say it. You didn't even know what a rosette was.
So because I don't know what a rosette was, you want? Oh no, my name is. You are hot.
I'm putting the camera back.
Yeah, you can put it back now. I need to check to see, Jimmy, if I have enough of this trim. To go around.
You'll have enough. It's just a matter how you want it to look.
But I think I have a good. You know what? I just figured it out. What I'm gonna do when I'm ready, if I have enough trim, also simply tie a knot.
So you're gonna go home. You're gonna go home tonight and bother. You're gonna bother your wife.
What's Malcolm saying?
Put a wine cork.
Ooh.
There you go.
You hear when you say the word wine.
But it looks like we'll have to go to the liquor store.
Don't say what wine to Jimmy.
Hey Malcolm, what do you think? I just created a rosette by simply making a little. Look, Patrick.
The wine cork idea is really cool.
That would look good in your hair. This little rosette.
Aren't there wine cork?
Rosette in your hair?
Oh my!
What the hell are you selling?
I'm leaving.
Look, Jimmy, that's a rosette. Look. That's a rosette. That's a rosette.
With the wine cork idea, you can find one that has a little logo on the end of it. Usually, sometimes they put things on it.
That's going to be perfect.
Idea,
it is a good idea, actually. Yeah. And maybe we could find a vintage wine from the year that this was made.
That'll be really. Oh, that's gonna be.
So what do you want to do? Drive up and down Main Street, USA every?
It'd be like 1820 vintage. That would be expensive. Jimmy, that's your task.
Well, you can find the cork. Get up to buy the wine.
Jimmy, I want you to look.
I definitely think the Strawberry Hill, kind of like.
Well, you're a Strawberry Hill watermelon wine guy, aren't you?
Yeah.
Wow.
How do you know?
You're classy.
Yeah, 2 for $5. Actually, with the economy, it's probably 2 for $6 now.
Watermelon wine. Hey, watermelon wine, children and old dogs, right?
Yeah, the things I look forward to.
Jimmy, you wouldn't believe how close I am on this.
Get Jimmy here.
Can I take this out? Can you take this out? I want to finish this.
This one? Oh, good. You're at that point. I'm just going to give this a little pull this way. We're having fun today, aren't we, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah.
At your expense, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I
I want to see how deep.
Yeah, he's holding a hammer,
Yeah, I'm holding a hammer. The lights could go out at any minute.
Remember, watermelon wine, old dogs, and children.
Remember that.
Maybe not that.
If I find watermelon wine, even though you may not drink, I'm going to leave it at your doorstep Christmas morning. Santa Claus was here.
Boone's
Farm.
Remember that? Boone's Farm.
Yeah, those vintage brands. I just kind of.
You want more ideas? Malcolm's also saying a small fabric covered button.
There you go.
He then says, tie a figure 8 knot.
Yeah, in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the gimp. My friend who I'm doing this for, super creative, and he's a real art connoisseur. And his hobby is finding antique sofas like this and having me do them. Isn't that nice? And the horsehair that we use, he buys the horsehair for me, Jimmy. Jimmy, we were joking last week that Jimmy goes out into the farm and gets the horsehair.
Straight from the horse's ass.
Jimmy forgot he was live TV.
It's alright, we can beep that one out. No, never mind, it's live.
Any other comments, questions?
No, Malcolm really has a good idea. So. If I were to do it personally, I would do the wine cork.
I like the wine
really
cork
good.
idea, I really do. I might propose that to him.
Because, like I said, you can get them with stamps on them.
Yeah.
You can get them with, I don't know if they do like an engraving on the top. I don't know if that exists.
I'm sure they could do that if you with the right.
You get the cork, he wants a rose, put the rose on the cork, engrave it in.
Well, I was thinking of a simple cap on it, but you guys obviously got way creative over my head, so.
Well, no, a cap is a good idea.
What about a piece of wood if you're good with wood? No, if you're good with wood, you have one that goes right in there, perfect dimensions.
They do have those wooden buttons that you can buy, but I'm not sure. That's about a 3/4 inch hole. I'm not sure if they make them that big. They usually have for Danish chairs that you put, the little plug on the sides, and usually before you put them in, you stain them.
He wants to know. This is a good point. What would have been there originally?
I have no idea. I don't think he knew either.
Could have just been like that.
No, I would think there was a finial maybe, but that's kind of French. And this is not French. This is American-made, Vermont, American-made, 1820, somewhere around there. So I don't think a finial. Now I'll take that back. I don't think it would be a finial. Too much of a French element on that piece. So we don't know what it was. How's it going, Jimmy?
Yep, doing your labor and you're making millions off of me.
Well,
Wouldn't go that far.
Oh, okay, well.
we're not
Minus a lot of zeros
We're
off.
gonna have you do the top. That's it, and then we'll go.
It's okay. It's coming along. I want to make sure it's as bright as rain here. I don't want to.
Do you know, Jimmy? I did want to show people. Can you grab me some of that horsehair?
Imagine it was a carved wooden rosette. There you go.
Maybe,
That's what I
yeah.
was
Yeah,
thinking.
maybe. Can you grab me a little handful of that horsehair, Patrick?
A little bag.
That Jimmy hand-picked from the farm? No, it's in the box.
Oh.
What was that horse's name?
How much? Oh,
Trigger?
Came in last, I know that.
sorry, Jim. You got all over your jacket.
So really on this piece, wood, horsehair, cotton, burlap, jute, very little machine age things. And we wanted to show what we found as far as tacking in this. We found copper nails or tacks, twisted nails for the webbing, you
Look at what's
guys.
closer.
And we found a penny, so you can see it's definitely copper. See that, Patrick?
A little bit in.
Right? Do we see that?
That's good.
And we found another penny. And then I asked Jimmy to take a look at this tack. Did you determine, Jimmy, if this tack was handmade?
I couldn't tell.
I don't see a seam in
So I
there.
think Malcolm might be. He might know what that.
It might be hard to see on the
Yeah,
camera,
it's-
Patrick, but there were two tacks. Some were older than others. I think this one, if you notice, on this one, you might be able to see the seam a little bit better.
Put
at
your
the
hand
top.
down like this. Yeah, there we go.
Let me put these side by side because I think this tack that I'm putting down now, and it looks older too, is an older tack.
Angle your hand. There we go. Let's see and zoom in here. There.
And you know what? Let me put the copper tack, which is really unusual. I've not seen too many of these at all, Malcolm and Janine. Oops, where'd it go? Gee, I wonder if that's not handmade. That the copper tack, I think it's the original, one of the originals.
It's gonna be hard to
Here,
see.
put it there.
Yeah, there.
Put them all there.
There we go.
That's pretty interesting, though. I think I like finding older tacks.
Well, it tells you the history, then you have an idea how it was made.
Yeah. I'm
And-
going to give this to the customer, actually, all this. I'm going to do that while Jimmy's working over here. Do you have an envelope over there, Patrick? Can you hand me an envelope? So what I do, just to show people, when I find something cool, I'll put it, and no matter what the value is, it can be no value, or it can be 2 Rolex watches and a gold coin, which I found in one sofa, which gets the same treatment, you guys. Oh, look what I'm doing. I'm not putting these in.
Yeah, Malcolm says, how about a small coin from 1880? Finish the end.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
It's
These
the copper tacks were used for building stripper canoes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Because then they're rust resistant, right?
It must be, yeah.
Wow.
Don't rust, yeah, that's what we just said.
Wow, that's right. I'm going to put this in the front on the seat portion so I don't forget it. And give that back to Lewis. He'll love that.
So I'll get to meet this guy?
Yeah, if you're going to be delivering it with me.
Yeah, you gotta tell me.
So any other comments, Patrick, or any other?
Get us out of the bag.
Yeah, no.
Denise, I thought copper tacks would be too soft.
These are twisted, so I think it adds strength. Janine, it's pretty interesting you should say that.
Kind of like a squirrel in that
It's
stuff.
they're twisted,
Yeah.
so that probably adds strength.
Well, how was copper nails the big thing way back? I mean, during when
Yeah.
things were being put together and.
Remember in Boston in the 80s and 90s, they were stealing all the copper wiring and all the copper tubing out of buildings
Yeah,
because the copper value was so much.
I remember we had a couple of employees who decided to take copper wiring from the
Oh my God.
the track.
Oh, you're kidding.
No,
How'd they have the time to do that? No getting.
yeah, I'm like, you know,
Is the third rail got the copper on it, or
there's some copper, but not as much.
they
But
didn't steal that, did they?
no.
I wonder why.
Let's take this. Let's take it while it's live, guys. Yeah.
It's
All
worth
right.
more.
Yeah, it's worth more. But no, they had taken some copper wiring, some heavy gauge copper wiring, and obviously, yeah, lost their jobs over it.
Wow.
We have a bronze full-figured Jesus at my church that I go to, and they cut him down recently. It's like
Why?
last year to get the middle. Somebody cut him down off the cross, and but they couldn't take him away because he was so heavy. The police think he was too heavy for them to load in their truck because they just threw him in the bushes. But I think some people are desperate, huh?
The things people do. You when you catch him, you like to say, "What were you thinking at the time?"
So the priest is not. He's taken his time putting him back up.
Well,
I think too, out of charity, he's. Nobody's mad about it. We're just sad about it. Nobody's mad. We're sad.
I'd be mad. Like
I know you would be, but
I would be mad because of the fact that it's. What business is it of yours?
I know. Well,
That's what I say to people. Like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Don't be a Karen every
But
day.
he's getting estimates to put him back on the cross. And it's very expensive to do that, and he won't.
What do you need to do that?
Oh, it would be a big job because it's so heavy.
Like what? Welding? Are we
It
talking?
would have to be welding, yeah.
Wow.
I imagine, yeah. I don't know how it was put up. They must have been welded on, yeah.
Well, years ago, if it's up there for 25, 30 years, that technique is probably not even.
That's another thing. Who can do it? How many people know how to do something?
You probably need 4 to 6 guys.
Oh yeah, easy. Or a crane.
Yeah. Tell you.
But we don't get mad. We had a lady come in church and steal a Bible a couple of Saturdays ago.
Really.
But if you're going to steal anything, we'd like them to. That's the one thing we wouldn't mind having them steal, right? But
Well,
I don't know.
How come they can't drop a few extra bucks in the plate, though? That's what I say.
Yeah. Well, if you have to show some charity, I guess, right, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah, you try to, but
See that hammer Jimmy's using, you guys? That's the best trade hammer for upholsterers that you can get. I mean, we have this other hammer over here that's more of a arts and craftsy type thing. And I just want to show you the difference. Notice how, first of all, the magnetic, they have the negative and positive end, and the tack's supposed to hold in there, but oftentimes it doesn't. This loses. That magnet on there, it never loses its magnet. And then the hammer end of this hammer is square. You'd be surprised at what a square hammer, your hammer end being square, how much of a hindrance that can be, especially when you're putting decorative tacks in, because you can't see the outer edges. So the proper tooling is important. And also the biggest thing is that it's straight. It's not dipped. Jimmy's hammer has dips on both ends to accommodate his. See the angle that he's working now? So by the time he's at the bottom of his swing, he's straight on, not crooked like this would be. Isn't that interesting? They call this a 5-ounce hammer. Any other questions or comments? Because we're going to be closing out in a minute, Patrick.
No.
All right.
Well, actually, Malcolm has a point about the twist on that. They twist so they don't pull out. A much later design than the cut tack.
That's right. I wonder if it was designed for upholsterers originally, that twist. Thanks, Malcolm. That's good, Jimmy. Want to put one more in? All right.
2 more in.
That's a deal.
Good. So give the end speech and.
So as Jimmy's finishing up there, I think I will finish up, Patrick. Is there any news that you have coming up? Patrick's been careful with the news because things are kind of busy. I mean, I told you in the beginning that it slowed a little bit, but when it slows, believe it or not, excuse me, and with these colds and flu throughout the early winter here,
The third week we've had this now.
it's actually really hindered us. Being slow has made me more busy at work when I'm sick, if you can figure that out. But I'm hustling, not hustling in a bad way, you know what I mean, guys. I'm just, you know, the creativity, calling customers, trying to get things ignited, you know, from a sales standpoint, that takes a lot of energy, and I'm not on the bench. So it's tough running a small business, but we love it, and we love people who watch us here, and Jimmy, and all the people who've been on the online classes and YouTube. Jimmy, do you have anything to say before you?
No, I don't know if you want to announce when's next. We're going to try to get a new project coming in soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully a sofa, a love seat, something a little bit on the large side to give everybody a better chance of understanding about what it takes to put something together like that, because it's fascinating for me right now, and I'm sure for a few more times. So
we
then hopefully that'll be
something you would keep, right?
I would, yeah. I mean, either I'm going to keep it or give it to somebody.
Well, Jimmy, Jimmy always—he's so generous. Didn't you give a chair to a homeless lady?
About that.
Yeah.
What
I
happened?
No, it was something that I had bought. It was the channelback chair that we did. And of course, my apartment is full of chairs and furniture. So I said, well, somebody else who needs it. So they took it, and they're using it right now.
That's pretty awesome, Jimmy. That was a lot of work.
Yeah, we did do an awful lot. I don't know how many lessons that was. About 15, maybe.
Jimmy, hours and hours and hours and hours of work, and Jimmy's generous. He gives it away. A lot of people wouldn't do that. But thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, somebody, let's say we do a love seat with somebody, or perhaps we say, hey, this is our project, we're gonna do it for you. We buy the fabric or whatever they want, and we do it up, and there you go.
Well, Jimmy, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time, guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks to Janine, and if Janine, we hope she can join us as much as possible.
Yes, I hope everything. I'm stunned. That's all I can say.
With you,
yeah, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. And like I said, we're doing this next class, so look forward to that.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Take
See you later, guys.